Morning guys, Laura here from Hedgehogs Homestead. Today we are getting the baby chicks done. I thought I'd show you they're approaching 3 weeks, how big they are, and then our one that we hatched out pretty soon. These chicks are coming out of here in another week, I believe. I'll have to look at the dates of when I got the first batch, and then those batch will be processed, and this batch will be put in the chicken tractor. So let me give you an update on them and see how they're doing. Okay, here you go. We got our 30 meat birds, and then our little hatchling, which is right there. The only one that has black on it. The other ones are getting a good amount of feathers. I threw fresh bedding in here, which I've been doing every morning lately. And then I just throw their food on top of their fresh bedding. So that way it stays clean. And then because they're manuring so much in their bowls, I don't think it matters at this point. I moved them up to 2 larger waterers. When they go out in the chicken tractor, they will have like a 3-gallon waterer that I will refresh every day. Their water gets refreshed every day. Their food gets refreshed, and their bedding at this stage, because they manure so much because they eat so much. So at this stage, fresh bedding, fresh food, fresh water every day is where we're at with these. And this is at the point where you can start to see the difference between your males and your females with your Cornish cross. Your males will have these, that's a male right there, and see how high his corn is, and that's a female. I can follow her. Her head is not her. The crown on her head is much smaller than the crown on that one. And this one's a lot more red. And then we have our little guy right here. There we go. Which I think is a rooster. And the reason why I think it's a rooster, because he has his crown is getting quite high. And then he's got little, he just looks like a rooster to me. So we'll see how that goes. We did need another rooster, so I don't mind. And his coloring is going to be beautiful. So excited about that. And any other roosters that we hatch out, because you'll see later, we have a bunch of eggs in the incubator. And a little red in that crown, and it's higher. So that's the difference. It doesn't matter with Cornish cross much, but because the males will grow out bigger, and that's good. So it's not a big deal. So anyways, that's just the difference you can see at this stage. I have to show you my roses this year. They are just absolutely fantastic. I just love them. These are all the roses. This is an Outlast. This is my beautiful rose that's in front of the house. Just bloomed, and it's got these little pink tips on it. Isn't that just gorgeous, guys? I am so thankful that we are getting some beauty on our property. And flooding and all kinds of stuff in Tennessee, but everything is just blooming and gorgeous. So I'm very thankful. Warning on this video, this is life raising livestock. There is a deceased Cornish cross in there. In their life cycle, they are growing so fast. That's the problem with these birds, is that we like them because of their taste, but we can lose some of them because they just grow so fast. That's the nature of these birds. So unfortunately, we have one that passed away this morning. I'm gonna go get it, put it in my compost pile, and then because we don't know exactly what it died of. If I knew exactly what it died of, I'd give it to my pig, but I don't know. And so I'm gonna before I move the chicken tractor, I'm gonna take that out and then move the chicken tractor so that these birds can be on new area as well. But this is what happens with Cornish cross. This is not probably a disease or anything like that. It's because of how they were created that they grow so fast. So because our ground is super uneven here, so I had to move them sideways instead of forward. And that other turkey went back in there. Not turkey, the other Cornish, male Cornish, went back in there. So now to feed them. The ducks manure in, and I feed it to my plants on my front porch and on the side of the house. I rinse it out, basically. can see the area that they were in, how much manure load and feathers and food and everything that's on the ground. That's why the rooster's over here, because he's eating the leftover food, because Cornish are notoriously wasteful in their food. My birds that get out know this, and they always come in. I think I need to catch this rooster. He's getting quite a big spur on him and clip those. So I'll have to do that. Just noticed that for the first time, which is good to know because a couple times when I'm taking eggs, he is, when there's a broody hen on there, he has come out kind of after me. So it's good to know that he has those spurs and that he could do some damage, and I can take care of him if I can catch him. So if I can catch him, we will clip in those spurs. And I just do it with I have these scissors kind of for dog nails, same thing. Okay, everybody. Let's get back in here. I told you. Watch out. Watch out. Found a little egg on the ground. Now, let's go take care of Mrs. Pigglesworth. Okay, let's check this fence and make sure that this girl's all charged up before we let her out. Gotta make sure she's charged up for sure. Hi, Missy. And I am always feeding her inside her fence is hot, but not real hot. The lower part. Okay. It's fine. Sometimes you just have to check it again because you'll get it in between pulses. Because the fence isn't a constant hot, it pulsates, and so that's what's happening with that. Okay, my girl. Let's get your gate open. You gotta get down. You gotta get down. Yeah, get down. Good girl. Look at my girl. Look at my girl. Look at my girl. Come on. There you go. I always feed her in there now because it's unusual that she comes out nowadays, because she knows that that's where she's going to get fed. That way, if we have to move her or get her in there, she is trained to a bucket anyways, and we'll be training her kids to a bucket. And how you do that is you just basically make sure you feed them out of a bucket. Every time you're feeding your animal, you're not doing it out of, and sometimes the color of the bucket matters. It doesn't seem to with her. She knows a bucket's a bucket and the food comes in there. She also recognizes me as food. So not to eat necessarily, but to that I am bringing food, because she's pasture raised. we don't come out here much unless the food is, we have food, our water. Another thing is that because we pasture raise her, that is why we are so diligent about this hot fence. If maybe she was closer to the house, we could see if she got out. But if she gets out, we want to make sure that this fence is hot. So that's why we check it twice a day. I don't show you my evening routine, but she gets fed twice a day, so the fence gets checked twice a day. Even though when she gets fed for her evening feed, it is in there. She respects the fence very well. She trained very quickly and easily to the fence. I know that all pigs aren't going to be that way, but hopefully she will teach her children well. So if you notice, she is getting a nice little belly on her now. Her teats are showing, which her teats weren't that elongated before, but that's part of pregnancy. But you can see definitely there is a body change, and I'll try to get a picture of that, of when she was younger. And we haven't seen any signs of miscarriage or any signs of anything else. No heat, no nothing, just hungry mama. She's not aggressive with me unless I have food, which she seems to be aggressive lately when she's really hungry. So that's just a moment. Now, let me show you guys something that's really cool about raising your pigs on pasture. Is she is eating all kinds of stuff out here, and she's rooting up the rocks in the process. So these rocks that would be embedded in the ground, she's rooting those up. So it's easy to pick them up after you've had your pigs go through your pasture. And this is where she's eating. There's a lot to eat out here. There's grubs and all kinds of bugs out here for her. Over there is full of manure. So there's not a lot of eating happening over there, but you can see that she's brought up stumps that were in the ground, and she does that a lot. And after she's been in an area, she'll manure when she's done with the area. But they're very particular about how they do things. So she was in that area before, and that's starting to fill up with grass and weeds. She was in that area, and that's starting to fill up with weeds. We are going to till this ground once. And then she has a pathway where she waits for me along the fence. She's been in this spot for a while. I think we're going to move her this weekend. Just because it's time. You don't want them to be in an area with manure for too long. Now, if I had her in in a place where she just stayed all the time, I would be putting wood chips on her manure so she wouldn't be exposed to it as much. But because she's out here on the pasture and we can just move her to a new spot instead of cleaning up the manure, because we really want the manure on the pasture. That's something that's going to improve the pasture, and so that's exciting. So she's doing good and wagging her little tail as she eats. She still likes to get her back scratched really good, and so I can't wait till July 16th, or is it June 16th? I'll have to look at the calendar. I think it's June 16th. Okay guys, the last thing I'm going to do on this video is I'm going to add a little water to my chicken, my incubator. And they do recommend that you use distilled water, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to add this. This is filtered water, cold water, and I want to see down there good. Gonna watch that humidifier reader in there. Of course, I can't see it the way it's sitting. How's that? Is that 30%? I'm trying to bring it up. Most of these hatching eggs are like 3 days left. So 21 days. We're at day 18 yesterday. So we're on lockdown. I shouldn't have even opened it at all, but we don't want to mess with it at all anymore. And I'm just adding a little water to bring up that humidity. So I'm going to be watching that and making sure that we can get that humidity. Because what happens with my last hatching is that I had a chicken that couldn't get out of her egg. Her egg was too hard. So they need that water in the end to be around 60%, 60 to 65, because what happens is that makes the egg a little more porous and they can break through it better. So, or softer on the inside. That membrane is what they're struggling to get out of. And that membrane will dry if there's no humidity, no good humidity in there. It's already at 32 since I added that. So we'll see you guys when these start hatching next time. There might be a couple different videos in between. We'll see. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time here on Hedgehogs Homestead. Bye.